brother! Jay, today is a great day because we get 133 new minutes of Harry Potter canon in the form of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And you wanna know what's even more great? This time people won't even be able to say it's not as good as the book because we're not basing it off of a book. Okay, I lied. There is this book, but I have to say it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, where even is the plot? It's like reading a textbook. Wait. Was I accidentally learning? Man, not again! I do have to say, if this is how thin wizard textbooks are, I'm kind of less impressed with Hermione. One of the things that I am the most excited about with this particular Harry Potter movie is the fact that it is not based off of a book to which we must compare it. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm watching the Harry Potter movies, I always wonder to myself, if you didn't read the books, would you know what was going on? So even though we don't know exactly what the story is going to revolve around other than Newt recollecting beasts that have been escaped in New York City, we do know a lot about Newt and the beasts themselves. So today we are going to go over everything we know about Newt and his fantastic beasts. Newton Artemis Phytoscamander, or Newt, was born in 1897. This movie takes place in 1926, which means Newt will be 29 years old. The first edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them won't be published until 1927, so this movie takes place pre-book fame. He graduated from Hogwarts and was a Hufflepuff. In fact, you can see his school scarf in his briefcase right here. And I have to say, I have no idea when J.K. Rowling decided that he was going to be a Hufflepuff, but I feel like it can't be a coincidence that this entire movie is about finding classic Hufflepuff. Newt's interest in beasts came from his mother, who bred fancy hippogriffs, not to be confused with plain old regular hippogriffs. Newt's first job was with the Ministry of Magic, relocating house elves before he was moved to the Beast Division, where he rapidly grew through the ranks. He would eventually marry Porpentina Goldstein, who we will meet in this movie as simply Tina Goldstein. I'd go by Tina too if my name was Porpentina. We know the two eventually moved to Europe and live with their pet Kneazles, Hoppy, Miller, and Mauler! And although it hasn't been confirmed anywhere, we do know that they must have a son because their grandson, Rolf Scamander, goes on to marry none other than Luna Lovegood. Kneazles. A small cat like, oh, they're cat people and Hufflepuffs? Hashtag Team Slytherin Dog. I would be interested to see if we find out how they get the names for the Kneazles. So throughout the movie, look for anybody named Hoppy, Millie, or Mauler. The movie takes place in New York City, although it seems prior to his arriving, Newt has already traveled the world based on many of the things we find in his suitcase and what he eventually writes in his book. For example, from Asia, we see an Akami, a plumed two-legged winged creature with a serpentine body. Also sporting a hard-to-pronounce name, Akami, Awesome. That's what they should call me. It is aggressive to all that approach it, or especially its eggs, which are made of silver, and I have a feeling we see right here. From Australia, we see these billywigs, sapphire blue insects whose stingers cause you to float and feel giddy. Sounds kind of awesome-y. I suspect they may also have some kind of extreme strength as well, because it looks like that's what's dragging Jacob Kowalski into the suitcase here. From Europe, Newt seems to have collected some Graphorn, giant-horned, mountain-dwelling beast with 4-thumbed feet and is very aggressive. 4-thumbed, does that mean 4 feet each with thumbs, or each foot has 4 thumbs. And finally, from Africa, Newt has some very questionable animals. First is the Arumpent, basically a rhino with a super explosive horn, although if you ask me, it looks a lot more like a crumplehorn snorkack. And second is the Nundu. As crazy as some of the other creatures may seem, this one is by far the most dangerous and could easily be the source of most of the problems in the movie. According to the book, their breath can cause disease that can wipe out an entire village, and one has never been taken down by fewer than 100 wizards working together. Those are his words from the book, which means it is very possible that the climax of this movie could involve a massive group of wizards fighting a wild Nundu. Newt has to have witnessed this, which means we have to see at least 100 wizards take it down, otherwise it's just still on the loose. If I had to bet, this will be the last beast to get back in the box, and it's going to take the combined forces of everyone to do so. But therein lies a great question. Who is combining forces? Is there a bad guy? I think so, because despite being listed as the second highest billed actor in the movie, Johnny Depp has been suspiciously absent from the trailers and is playing none other than Gellert Grindelwald, the second greatest dark wizard of all time, or at the time of the movie, the greatest dark wizard of all time. But what is Grindelwald doing in America? Well, if you recall from the Deathly Hallows, his goal was to end the Statute of Secrecy and lead the wizards out of hiding and actually overthrow the non-magical community for the greater good. Now, if you remember, one of the key differences between European wizard culture and American wizard culture is the relationship with the non-magical community. In America, the no-mages are far more suspicious and mistrustful of magic and prone to take violence against it. You can even see in the trailers posters for a second Salem referencing the Salem witch trials. In the movie, people supporting this anti-witch and wizard movement are referred to as second Salemers. Newt seems far too careful and responsible with his creatures to accidentally let them free, so my theory is that Grindelwald is actually behind it, hoping to reveal the wizards to the no-mages in a very destructive manner. This would cause the no-mages to take up arms against the wizards and further drive a rift between the two groups, and create a rallying point for him to recruit wizards by reinforcing how much the no-mage community needs to be kept in check. Because how do you get world peace? Alien invasion. Or Fantastic Beasts invasion. Classic bad guy plan. And I'm thinking he will be somewhat successful for one reason. None of the new beasts that appear on Pottermore or the Houses of Ilvermorny, which are native to North America, appear in this book at all. Plenty of the other international creatures do, but nothing for North America. This is supposed to be a copy of Harry Potter's book and the 52nd edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And since we know Newt is going to see some of those beasts, at the very least a Thunderbird, it is kind of strange that none of them appear in the book. Unless Newt sees what happens firsthand when no-mages in North America find out about the Fantastic Beasts and specifically leaves them out so that nobody can find them. No one meaning muggles, which the foreword in this book specifically says it's actually made for. Although I suppose it is also worth noting that this copy is now out of print and a new version of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them will be coming out in March. In any case, that is everything you need to know about Newt and his beast before going to see the movie. We are going to see it this evening, so if you see it tonight or this weekend and have any questions for us at all, be sure to leave them in the towel section down below. For my question of the day, if you guys have taken the test on Pottermore and know what your Ilvermorny house is, be sure to let us know in the towel section down below. I am in House Thunderbird. But guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like more Harry Potter action from us, you can click right here to have the 4 Ilvermorny houses explained, or right here to see the history of magic in North America. But Jay, that is everything that I've got for you today, man. I will see you on Tuesday.